Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, as usual, wherever the case may be, wherever you're tuning in to watch this, whether you're watching it live or whether you're watching it on a replay, you're all very welcome. You're all very welcome to another Calling Khan show. You know all about this show by now, hopefully. All about your opinions, all about your clubs, all about your agenda, whatever you want to talk about. If you want to get something off your chest, if you want to give an opinion, if you want to talk about some team in particular, well, the link is pinned in the chat. Click on that link, get your camera on, and we're good to go. We're good to go. You may think I'm on my own at the moment, and you may think right, and you are right. I am on my own at the moment, but I'm hoping to get a couple of co-hosts with me. They're watching Love Island. Sad as it is, yep. The rest of us in here, we don't really care about Love Island too much, do we? But it is what it is, man. People, as you're coming into the stream, big up all of yous. Hit that like button. Big up yourself, Ilyas. I've made you mod, haven't I? I think I've made you mod. Mate, Rico with a question already. Why is our fan base so toxic? Wouldn't have thought this team got to 9 points and find love every competition. Please help. Please help them, people, Grizz. Help them how, Rico? How can I help them? Everyone, the thing is, the beauty of this sport game, everyone has their own opinions. Everyone has their own perception of being negative or positive outlook on their team. You know, I don't believe in policing opinions. I don't believe in, everyone should support in one way. I don't believe in everyone should be negative or positive or, blame the owners or blame the players. Everyone can do what they want. I don't believe people should be over confident always as well. But it's good to have a nice balance and look at things in perspective and context. But Rico, trust me, it's not only our fan base. Since the start of social media, especially Twitter, all fan bases, trust me. Everyone complains about their fan bases. Trust me, it's like that. Evening, rookie, evening. Yes, bro. Big up yourself as well, Stephen Somerville, Irish Rugby. First time you've watched? Okay. First time for a while. Where you been, man? Where have you been? Listen, I've always got time to beef with Love Island. I'm telling you now. Always got time for Love Island. That's just me. People that enjoy Ireland, enjoy Love Island. So I can't even say it properly. I just said enjoy Ireland. Enjoy it, innit? It's not for me. We've got so much to talk about tonight, people. So much to talk about. I don't even know where to start. I'm going to wait for my co-host to come in before I let some callers calling in. There's about 3-4 waiting already in the studio. Be patient with me, guys. Hit the link in the description. That's your link to get in. You need a camera unless you've spoken to me before. If you've spoken to me before, that's all good, not a problem. But if you're a first-time caller, camera will be needed. Good evening, Aaron. Yep. Pixelated Pigeon is in the building, and if you're thinking why has he got that little emoji next to him, it's because he is a member. So he has priority on calls, he has priority on messages, he has priority on, he gets an emoji, and all because he's a member, and it helps support the channel as well. As Spartan says, guys, smash the like button and let's support Grizz by becoming members. The link is the link is there, so do that. Anfield Roden says hit the likes. Brethrens. Anfield Roden, what's Brethrens, man? Talk to me, innit? Explain to me what Brethrens are. Come on, bro. Explain that to me. I like that one. Ahmed says bring Remedy. Remedy and me and a few others are doing something very soon. I can't reveal all, but we're doing something real soon, people. Real soon. Can anyone confirm this? Ali Khan, are you playing with me? Michael Edwards has agreed to join Chelsea as chief negotiator. I don't believe that to be true. Can someone confirm that? I think Ali's just playing games. I definitely don't think that's happening. People talking about sort of the news about Jesus and Rafinha. Yeah, man, we're going to talk about that all. We're going to talk about it all. I'm just trying to wait for my co-host. Yes, Ram, big up yourself as well, my friend. Big up yourself as well. And before I get everyone in, Ligt to Chelsea, according to Fabrizio, we'll discuss that as well. We're going to get everyone's opinion on what they think of Ligt, who we were interested in. When I say we, the non-Liverpool fans should know I'm a Liverpool fan. So we were interested in him a long time ago. Around the Virgil van Dijk time. But we didn't go for him. Yeah, I knew that's not real. I see links, but no breaking news about Michael Edwards. Can't see him going elsewhere in England either. I agree with you. My friend. The links to him were very, very. I don't believe he left Liverpool to get away from football. So I'll be very shocked and amazed if he takes up another football role. Michael Edwards is on another level, man. He's not about going to be a transfer guru as such for another club right now. He's on a different level, people. He's a different level right now. So let's see how it goes. People, I know there's a lot of you waiting in the chat. I'm going to bring you in slowly. There's a few of you. Just remember a couple of things. New callers will be given priority and members. New callers and members will be given priority. But as long as there's a gap and a space, everyone will be allowed to come on. Jamie Phillips in the building. Big up yourself as well, Jamie. Hope you're doing well. Ben Stokes. Is that the real Ben Stokes, the cricket player? What a fantastic cricket player still. England captain now, I believe. According to Matt Law. Clear Lake. I think if he's talking about Matt Law, he must be talking about Chelsea. Has given us 200 million. Or he must be talking about the owners. Has given us 200 million to spend, though. Okay. Fair enough. Well, let's see. If you get Michael Edwards, then let's see. Bashar's in the building. Yes, my guy Grizz. Long time for me. Watching you from work offshore in Caspian Sea. Amazing. Big up Bashar, the Inter Milan resident fan. Okay, one of my co-hosts has finally decided to join me and ditch Love Island. My God, I can't even say nothing. No, I can't even say nothing because you're at that age, right? You're good looking. You want to be part of our Love Island next year. I know you do. Don't deny it. I know you're going for an audition. Breaking news, guys. Here we go. Liaz is auditioning for Love Island next season, so he's gonna. But listen, of course, we've been speaking for a little while, but welcome to the channel. First time on. How you doing, my brother Liaz?
My guy, I'm not sure if they take Americans on British Love Island. So if they do,
oh maybe shit! I'm sure they do. I'm sure. No, do you have to be British?
I don't know, to be fair, because they got Davide on there now. He's Italian.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Let's see what's popping.
People know in the chat. People, do you have to be? Because there is some diehard Love Island people in the chat. That's why I'm just still waiting for them. But people, do you have to be British to be on Love Island in the UK? Let me know about that. But
we'll
listen, I know you want to talk about it. So there will be people talking about it in the chat, and you can liaise with them. Pardon the pun.
I can't lie, man. Tonight was a dead episode.
If anyhow you ask me anything about Love Island or bust a joke or reference Love Island, I ain't got a clue, bro. I haven't got a clue.
I only started to watch because I was someone who used to diss the show. Like I saw like grown men on my timeline tweeting about it. I was like, men used to go to war. I tweeted that probably a week ago. And then some girl I was talking to, she's like, yo, tune in to Love Island. Like, I love this show. I was like, all right, let me go give it a chance. Yo, it's addicting, man. It's generational.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say it's addictive. Why does everyone say that? Man. What do you mean by that? Like, okay, I'm willing to give 2 minutes of the show. Fuck. I can't believe this. But all right, 2 minutes to tell me, no, fuck that. 1 minute. 1 minute, why is it addictive? What's addictive about it? It's a genuine question because I don't know.
I don't know, man. Because for me, reality TV has never been my thing ever. Like I'm not into reality TV whatsoever. But I don't know, man. It's just like these guys are so like the cast is so dumb and like they're so like they're your typical like blondes, right? Like they're not intelligent, but it's just funny, man. And I don't know, like seeing these guys make fools of themselves on national television is hilarious, bro. I don't know why, but I can't stop watching it.
Look, my guys are going to be coming in and saying, "Evening, lads, am I on the right stream? Love Island." They're going to be thinking, "What the fuck is going on?" Like, there's so much happening in the world of football. There's so much happening in the world of football, right? And Leahs and Grizz, right, who chat shit about football day and night on their social media, have decided to come on a show and talk about Love Island. This is why we need. That's what Pixelated Pigeon said. This is why we need football back ASAP.
That's true. That's a fact. That's the biggest reason why I started watching Love Island. I got nothing else to do.
It's Leahs. It's mad. I tell you, but you're not the first one to get addicted. So many of my guys have left me. I've had to leave so many group WhatsApps. They've left me. They've left me for Love Island. They've done this shit to me, man. I can't believe they've done this shit to me. They've kicked me out of groups because I dare fucking question them watching Love Island. Out you go, this group, until Love Island's over. Is that serious, man? But it is what it is, man. It is. Listen, of course, first and foremost, welcome. Thank you very much for coming on today. It's an absolute pleasure having you on.
Pleasure's mine, bro.
Leahs, I don't even know where to start. Just when we thought a quiet Friday night, nothing seems to be happening in the world of football. Everything's okay. Everything's rosy. Like a couple of rumors here and there, then bang, bang, bang. So we get the Kalvin Phillips to Man City move first. I think. No, was that the first one of the day?
That was earlier.
That was early. That was the first one of the day. Kalvin Phillips, 40, let's just say 40 to 45 million, around that figure, to Man City. Your thoughts?
I think Manchester City are at a point right now with their team where they have so much quality in virtually every single position that, unlike 99% of teams on the planet, they don't have to really be targeting first 11 players, for example. Like Liverpool, they need a Mane replacement. We go and buy Darwin Nunez. We commit so many of our funds to that. United, how long do you have in terms of what they need?
Oh, we're going to go there. We're going to go there.
I'm sure we will. I've been avoiding it. But Manchester City are at a point now where every single position you look at, they have one to possibly even two top class talents. And I think defensive midfield has been a position now where Fernandinho has left the club, and more so than what he just brings on the pitch, because as we've seen the last few years, he's a terrific defensive midfielder. One of the best, in my opinion, in the Premier League's history. But he's also a spiritual
Premier League
leader.
Hall of Famer.
I think so.
Underrated Hall of Famer, Fernandinho.
I definitely agree. But more so than that, he's also a huge presence in the dressing room. He's the club captain. He's been there so long now. And I think that those are big shoes to fill. Rodri, for me, is the best defensive midfielder on the planet, but he can't play every single game. And I think in Kalvin Phillips, you have a guy who starts every single time for England. Whether that's right or not is another discussion. He's Premier League proven. I actually think he's quite a good defensive midfielder. And I think under Pep, he's only going to get better and better. People can look at the price and say, is it worth it? I think for a club like Manchester City, who, again, only need to really worry about filling in the depth, that's not the biggest worry for them. I think that's the going rate for a player of Kalvin Phillips' quality and profile. And I think it's a good signing for them.
I agree with you in a lot of things there, especially you'll be surprised to know or hear, even though I'm a Liverpool fan, people know that I try to keep it as real as I can. I agree with the Rodri shot. And I think Rodri's so good, Leahs. Okay. Phillips, okay, do we agree that Phillips and Rodri, we can't see playing in the same team very often the way Pep sets up?
No, I don't think we will.
Right? So that goes without saying. I think we agree on that because just the way he plays, he believes in two progressive eights, proper progressive eights, almost tens, right? And then Rodri does two man's work.
Absolutely.
Now, Phillips is an England international, full England international. My God, one of the mainstays of this Leeds team. How is he coming into this team like this, do you think, in this squad? It's going to be because I'm not going to lie to you. If I see, as a Liverpool fan, if I see a Man City team without Rodri in it, my eyes light up, Leahs.
Definitely.
My eyes light up. Are you of the same feeling? Like that's how crucial Rodri is, because I think Rodri is for me as crucial as a. I'm gonna say it. I think he's crucial as a De Bruyne to them.
Definitely. I think Rodri, for me, when I know me and you, we went back and forth a lot on the Premier League team of the season and who should have been in it and who shouldn't have been in it. For me, Son.
No, I agreed with you, Rodri.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, Son was the one everyone looked at, and
yes.
rightfully so. But Rodri, for me, should have been one of the first names alongside Alisson for the two most consistent players in the Premier League this season, from match week 1 to match day 38. Consistency. For me, here, I find it incredible because for me, I look at him and I look at Pep has basically found his Busquets for Manchester City. He's found the linchpin, the guy who is the hub of that team. So yeah, for me, he is the guy who plays every single game for Manchester City. You've seen City without De Bruyne at times can replicate the great levels. Rodri, for me, you take him out of that team, it drops a few levels.
He's number one of the. I'm with you, man.
Yeah.
People don't understand the job he does, and your Busquets example is so good. I don't think he's
not as good as Busquets. Let's be real.
I don't think he's technically as good because Busquets is not even not half. That's overstating it, but Busquets is not even close to being the physical beast that Rodri is.
Yeah,
but
agree.
Busquets is up here.
It's a different level.
He's a different level, and that's what elevates him past the physical attributes that Rodri has. Because Rodri is a beast.
Yeah.
And Rodri's improved his goal scoring from Man City as well. How many crucial goals has he scored? His snide, he's learned from Fernandinho. And then the rest of the skills, you can see Pep has enhanced in him. Yeah. That's why a lot of people are saying this Phillips might be elevated to that another level now under Pep. Because Pep does that to players, right?
No, definitely. I mean, you look at so many players. For me, the one I always go back to is Bernardo Silva. I remember Bernardo Silva at Monaco. You look at a guy who I thought he was like a Juan Mata kind of player, that guy who plays in the pockets in the final third and so technically gifted, so elegant. And he's come to Manchester City, and within a few seasons, Pep has made him a bulldog. He's made him the guy with the most tenacity in the team. He's going into tackles. He's got bite to him. And of course, he's a wonderfully technical, talented player. So yeah, any player within 12 months of playing under Pep Guardiola elevates their game to another level. And I think Kalvin Phillips, while he isn't as good as Rodri, I think also provides something different, and that's his long balls. I think his balls over the top, his what's the word? His range of passing is better than Rodri's, and it's different. But I think the City team is gradually starting to evolve. You're kind of seeing Sterling and Jesus. I think they're going to be leaving the team soon. Whether Sterling leaves this summer or goes on a free the next summer, I think he's going to leave. Sané has arrived at the club, and you look now at their winger. You're looking at guys like Foden, Grealish, Mahrez, Cole Palmer. Haaland now is a striker that City have never kind of had, and that he likes to play in transition. So City are evolving into a newer version. I think all the best teams have to continuously keep doing that. And in Kalvin Phillips, he brings you, again, something they didn't have before. And maybe in the Champions League, that's what they've been missing, a plan B. And with all these different players, you kind of have that.
100%. Yeah, you're right. Plan B. Because if we think about it, Haaland is I don't want to say a plan B, but he's different. He's going to be a total different way of playing. It's going to be a total different way of playing with Haaland than it is without playing a recognized striker and just like 2 or 3 floating strikers type thing, because Haaland's not about floating and getting involved. He does get involved. He does link.
Haaland is a player who wants the ball played in front of him. He's going to run into space and he's going to finish.
And this is my point, Liaz. With Man City, how many times are you going to have opposition giving you that space? Because Liverpool and Man City are not given that space. So when people tell me, this is where we're going to disagree for the first time in the night, 15 minutes in. We may not. We may agree, we may not. When people say Haaland is going to be a certified success,
I don't agree.
Fuck, man, we're agreeing.
United and Liverpool fans agreeing. What's the world come down to?
That's what I'm saying, man. So I think Haaland in isolation is an absolute gunman. Yeah. In isolation, he's the best finisher around. I'm trying to think of a better finisher. Maybe Lewandowski.
I don't think there is one.
I'd say Lewandowski. I think Lewandowski is the best finisher, me personally.
Fair enough. I look at Haaland's goal record. Like he scores as many goals as he plays games. For me,
But the point being, okay, one of them too.
Yeah.
I just think, and I said it about Grealish, and I was proved right. I said Grealish is a different type of player for Villa,
Right.
and when he gets into a Pep team, he's going to take time. And Grealish might shine this season because he's had that coaching for a year, right? But I said it's going to be integral. So it's going to be important that he learns how to play like Pep wants him to play. Grealish is all about control, touches, running the ball, choosing to pass when he wants to pass, when he thinks the pass is on. Pep's all about 3-touch football. Yeah. In his team, you play 3-touch football. Bang, 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 bang. It's all about movement off the ball.
Unless your name is Messi.
Yeah, but that's like a whole different specimen,
of course,
right?
Of course. I'm just kidding.
So that's why I think Haaland, as much as of a mad gunman he is, he's a finisher extreme. We both agree. I think it's going to take him a bit of while to get into the tactical nous of Pep and the movement of the players around him. Because let's not forget, Liaz, all of the players around him will have been used to not playing with a central, big target man striker, and it takes time.
Yeah. I mean, let me go through a few things right there. A, I completely agree. B, I'm with you with Grealish. And in fact, I think you're more optimistic about Grealish than I am. I was a massive Jack Grealish fan. I still am. I think he's wonderfully talented. But I never understood the move to City. And I don't think he will ever be able to. I think he'll be good at City. He's never going to flop. But I don't think he'll ever justify his price tag, which already is almost impossible to do. And I don't think he'll ever be a main guy at Manchester City. I think he's born to be a big fish in a small pond. Like you said, he loves his touches. He loves everything going around him. Jack Grealish is at his best when he can attract the attention from 3 defenders and open up space for his teammates to send them through. At City, you already have De Bruyne and those guys to worry about. So that's just on Grealish. Haaland, I agree with you. And I agree with you because I've been saying this for a long time. Haaland to City, and you can correct me if you disagree, reminds me of Zlatan to Barca. And it reminds me of Zlatan to Barca because you have this winning formula and you have a formula that works in a certain way, and you're bringing in somebody who's an absolutely terrific player in Zlatan and in Erling Haaland, but you can't put a square peg into a round hole. And I keep hearing this whole thing of, all City needs is a guy to get on the end of their chances. All City needs is a guy to finish the multitude of chances they create. But something that I think a lot of people are missing is that the multitude of chances City create is due to their false 9 system. You have you have a front three of 3 diminutive attackers who never keep their position. They're constantly rotating, constantly moving, constantly dropping deep, dragging defenders into uncomfortable positions they don't want to be in. And through that creates chaos, and through that creates chance creation like we've never seen before. Now, if you put a central striker who likes to sit up front, he does, of course, drift to the right at times, but he's going to be sitting in the box. And he doesn't move. He's not the guy to drop deep, like you said. He's not the guy who's going to be switching positions with Foden. The chance creation is going to go down because the movement off the ball is going to decline. Again, I bring it back to Zlatan. You brought Zlatan in to Barcelona and expected to play the same way just with Zlatan instead of Samuel Eto'o. But what people didn't take into consideration is that with Eto'o, Pedro, and Messi, you had 3 forwards who were selfless enough to be consistently alternating positions, and then you put Zlatan in, who's a tall target man who sits up front and wants the ball to feed. I bring the example of Chelsea. Chelsea had that same thing as City. Werner, Havertz, and Pulisic. None of them are as
good. Go look at the final. Go look at the Champions League final against City. The way they played, and with Lukaku, total different ball game.
Absolutely. The goal that they score comes through Werner making an unselfish run, Havertz dropping to the position that he left behind, Mount finding him. And then you put a guy like Lukaku, who's a better goal scorer than Havertz, Werner, and Pulisic combined. But the entire game plan switches when you have a guy who needs the ball to feet, who requires you to change the way you play. The thing with City and the thing with Haaland is I think the two eventually will adapt. Both of them are going to have to change for the other. You mentioned have to learn to play under Pep. Pep is going to also have to learn how to coach his team to fit with Haaland. I think there will be an adaptation period. But I don't know, man. I think the difference between Haaland and Zlatan is that Haaland is young, he's hungry, and I think he wants to learn, and I think he wants to win. And I think eventually these two will get it right. I agree with you. It's not going to be as Haaland is not going to come match week 1 and score 3 or 4 goals in the first game. This might get clipped up, and he might, but we'll see what happens.
Exactly. He might.
I agree with you. I think it's going to take some time for both of them to adapt to each other, and then you'll finally see the final product. And I think when it happens, I said on a video I made, I think Haaland is going to destroy the Premier League once it happens, but it will take some time.
We gotta give a shout out to new member Jamie Phillips in the building. Thank you very much. Appreciate the support, Jamie. You're gonna come on in a bit. I can see you in the background, my friend. I've got about 5-6 people to come on. I'm gonna bring you on 1 by 1 or 2 by 2, maybe. Eric Backer sending a super chat. Said he says thoughts on Ligt to Chelsea. We're gonna come on to all the talking points, but Ligt, Chelsea. I said it, and I love winding up the Chelsea fans. They know I love them. They love me. It's a love-hate relationship. I love them. They hate me. I've said it, Liaz, that I think Chelsea and United need the most surgery out of the top. When I say the most surgery, I think to go to the next level that they want to go to.
Yeah.
I think we're going to come on to Man United as well. Chelsea.
Take your time. We don't really have to if you don't want
Chelsea.
to.
Oh no, we needs to. Chelsea. They're losing a lot of experience, Liaz, and a lot of pace and power in Rudiger. A lot of assuredness when he was on his game in Christensen, a ball-playing centre-back. They're losing possibly Alonso as well. I think near enough Alonso.
Azpilicueta.
Azpilicueta's 50-50, right? He may sign on another.
Yeah, sure. He might still stay, but I'm just saying he's the captain.
I think he's the kind of guy that will stay for the cause, for the battle. You know, he's one of those, again, another Hall of Fame famer. Definitely. He's a Premier League legend. People sleeping on Azpilicueta. Wow. De Ligt. So they've been linked with the two most common names they've been linked with, Conde, Sevilla, and De Ligt of Juve. It looks like the attentions have been turned to De Ligt more than Conde. Wise move in your opinion, or what do you think out of the two?
First off, I don't disagree at all. I think United, everyone knows how much work they need, but Chelsea, I think, has kind of gone under the radar. That they are definitely, for me, the biggest contender to miss out on top four out of like the four that just made it between City, Liverpool, Spurs, and Chelsea. I think Chelsea, if Arsenal is going to break into that top, Chelsea is the one who needs to be careful. And I think you look at all those players that are potentially leaving or have already left. It's easy to say the likes of Alonso don't play. It's easy to say the likes of Christensen don't play. It's easy to say the likes of Lukaku don't play. But the fact is they're leaving for free. And that means that you're not getting a transfer fee to go and replace them. Already, if you were to get 60 million for Rudiger, you're getting 60 million, but then you have to spend the 60 million wisely enough to find a replacement. You're not getting anything for these players. And I think in that sense, it's a big loss, especially Rudiger for me, because under Tuchel, he's been world-class. He's been absolutely world-class. And yeah, the De Ligt signing, I haven't seen a lot of players whose stock has dropped as much as De Ligt has since he left Ajax. I still rate him. I still think he's an excellent defender. But I think there are valid question marks over his pace, which in the Premier League is going to be tested week in, week out. Could he thrive in a back three? I'm sure he could. And I'm sure under Tuchel, his flaws would be disguised a bit better than they have been at Juventus. But I don't know, man. Like, it's a tough one, really, because I think what Chelsea had last year of Rudiger worked so well. I still think Koundé is more of a natural replacement for Rudiger. But De Ligt, we'll see how much they spend. We'll see if he can come in and replicate what Rudiger was able to give them. But I'm not 100% in love with the signing. I still rate De Ligt, but I think Koundé should be the priority. But now there's Barcelona, too, who they're saying are interested in him as well.
I was a massive De Ligt fan. Huge. He was one of the names on our list. And that's why I possibly became a huge fan. But no, I just became a huge fan because obviously, naturally, I started watching him more and more. And I thought he was just going to be the next best thing.
Me too.
When he went to Juve, I actually understood the decision he made because Juve, Italian league, he's a hardcore defender. He's joining Bonucci, Chiellini, these guys. He's going to learn from the best. He's already a brilliant centre-back. He's going to learn from these guys and become the all-conquering centre-back that we all thought he's going to be. I agree with you. His stock has fallen. But as Eric reminds us, he's only 22. I forgot about that. I forgot. I thought he
was captaining Ajax at 18 in the Champions League. It's crazy.
I would hate it if Chelsea got it. That's what I'm going to say. I would hate it if they got him.
I think one thing people forget too about these players, right? And I said the same thing when Bentancur left. You know what? In fact, it's a bit hypocritical for me to say this because when Bentancur left Juventus, everyone was telling me how crap a midfielder this guy was. He was useless at Juve. Spurs were signing a dud, but I was very clear that you have to remember that environment is everything for young players, and that just because a player flops at one team doesn't mean that he can go to a different team and flop. And I was proven right about Bentancur. I think he actually helped change Spurs this season when he came in. Saying he's a world beater, but he's clearly a functional midfielder, especially for Conte. And the biggest thing for me that I love that Ajax, I go back to him being the captain there, is like his maturity. He struck you, like you said, like a Bonucci, like a Chiellini. The guy was a warrior. The guy was in people's faces, scoring decisive goals. And you were looking at this guy and wow, he's a teenager. So that for me was always the biggest thing with the Ligt. And I look at what Tuchel has been able to do to revive a lot of those Chelsea defenders' careers. Who's to say he can't do it with De Ligt, who for me is just as talented, if not more, than a Rudiger?
No, absolutely. One thing I got right again, and you always remember the right things because you get so many wrong. You have to remember the right things, right? And I remember having so many arguments with Liverpool fans at the time. I don't know how many years ago, because when was Davinson Sanchez and De Ligt at Ajax? What, 4 seasons ago or 3?
Yeah, 16, 17, 16, 17 when United played them in the Europa League.
Right. So that's when I said, forget about Davinson Sanchez. De Ligt is the one. And everyone was like, no, this guy is the one, Sanchez. I said, okay, no problem. I can't say De Ligt's gone clear because we just discussed he's come to a stalemate. Yeah. But we definitely can say that Sanchez hasn't lived up to the... right, listen, I have to read out the comments from members. You don't have to answer them, though.
Okay.
Kevin, who's a member of the channel, says, Lias, do you mind if I ask what part of the States you're from? As I said, you don't have to answer it.
No, I'll answer. I don't live in the U.S. anymore anyways, so I mean, I can tell you where I used to live in the U.S. I used to live in New York. Born in Toronto, and then I moved to New York and grew up there, and now I live in London.
Fair play, fair play. There you go, Kevin. I told you, you get priority. Got a question from Sid the Kid. Sorry, not question. He makes a point. He says, go watch City in 17-18 and 18-19. Then go look at Haaland finishing map. Everything he scores is in the box where City create all their chances. I agree that Haaland's finishing map may suggest that. I agree in 17 and 18 and 18-19, you did play like that because you had a certain Sergio Aguero in your team.
Yeah.
What me and Lias were saying, that in the last season and possibly 2 seasons, you've developed or evolved or changed slightly the way you play. And therefore, he will take time to adjust that. Dortmund play a total different brand of football to Man City. In fact, Pep plays a very unique way of football. And I think Lias spoke my mind because I've been saying it on my streams that the way they control games is through their midfield and lack of a man up front, because they use that man as a spare man in midfield.
Yeah.
Essentially, they have 5 people in midfield controlling the ball. That's
plus the wing backs coming in. Cancelo is basically playing as a midfielder too.
Absolutely. Someone's trying to get into the... Guys, the studio's full, so we're going to try... Lias, we're going to try to get people on, man. The studio's full. We need to... Everyone's saying this is a call-in show. This ain't a monologue from you two. I said, okay, sorry, guys. Okay, I'm going to get Stephen Somerville because I believe he's a first-time caller. So, Stephen... Stephen, how you doing, my man?
All right, Chris. Right, Les, how you doing?
Not too bad, my brother. Not too bad. How are you?
Doing grand. First time on here, and I'm a Liverpool fan just to make sure, because I know we're talking about different things apart from Liverpool, but there you go.
It's not a problem, man. I love Liverpool fans, as you know. I mean, obviously, this call-in shows about every club's fans, but Liverpool fans, obviously, always number one in my hit list. So, from your name, I take it you're from Ireland, right?
Yep, from Ireland. I'm not from... Well, I'm from the north of Ireland, but I'm proud to be Irish, and big part of the Irish Reds. And I actually got over recently for the Liverpool Man United game. We actually won 4-0, and that was a brilliant.
What a game!
I actually got that as a present for my dad. We didn't get over Anfield for years, and just to get that for him, and it's actually won 4-0 just to top it off. It was just I know Les, you're a United fan from the whole terrace, but won't go as that far. But all I say, I was good to get back to Anfield. Just unfortunate we didn't get the Champions League or the Premier League, but. I think Liverpool, going forward, I don't worry as much, guys, as what I would be. because I know it's a work. I've seen Klopp sign a 4-year contract for a reason, and you see why this is a process. Going forward to 2026, and who knows beyond that. I mean, I think Arsene Wenger, I think it was 1996 he joined, and he stayed on. Whenever they were in the Invincible season, he stayed on. I think that was this is around the same time that Klopp will finish up in 2026. So you can see what he's doing. Klopp making new teams like he did with Nunez and what have you. But I think, in my opinion, that you only see Liverpool getting stronger, and who knows where Man United will be, who Chelsea will be, or City will be. But we'll watch. I think that's wait and see. But yeah, I think I'm proud to be a Liverpool fan. That the first time on here, but it's I think it's for me it's a good thing.
What I want to ask you, Stephen, before we get Leah's opinion on the Liverpool situation, because Leah's, you'll be shocked, or maybe you might not be shocked and surprised to know there's a lot of panic in the Liverpool fan base. And you're going to say, what? And I'm going to explain to you. Trust me, there is. But Stephen, I like your way of thinking, because it's difficult to control what other clubs do. You can only control, or we can't even control that. But what I mean by that is Klopp and the owners can only control what they can do in terms of for Liverpool, right? How do you feel about going into this season with the state of our squad, with the state of our signings? Some journalists suggesting that we're not going to sign anymore. I don't really believe that to be the case. I think there will be one more body coming in. But let's say there isn't, right? Let's say there isn't. Sadio Mane has gone, an absolute legend and an icon for us, right? Everyone agrees, right? Even non-Liverpool fans will say that. Instead, people forget, we replaced him with Diaz, Carvalho, and Nunez in effect. So I know people are going to say Minamino and Origi, but I think they had, and someone's going to correct me in the chats, they had 3 starts all season. So they don't really count for me. They played in the cups quite a bit. Taki did. But I think, so what I'm trying to say is Nunez and Diaz is going to start far more games than Taki and Origi. So in effect, they're the 2 replacements we've got. Are you okay with that? Are you happy with that? Or are you frustrated that we may be weaker than last season, as some are suggesting?
I think there's a lot of things that I can think of right now in terms of where I am with the owners and with how we've done the transfer window so far. I mean, if you would have saw me after the final of the Champions League, I was a bit gutted in a way.
Yeah.
I thought that there's a few things to factor because, yes, we got to the Carabao Cup final, the FA Cup final, and the Champions League final, right? Now we didn't win the domestic double, but the fact is we take those games to penalties, right? And we don't score any goals. Then comes the European Cup final. We don't score any goals then. But this time we give Real Madrid, lucky defenses, gets Real Madrid to win, in my opinion. And I thought that Liverpool had the chances to win that Champions League. Something hit me that night, and if you don't know where I am, I'm a regular on Ryan LFC. I think he's up and on your show a few times, Grizz, and I'm on the panel of that. We've been talking about this huge debate that we've been having, and whether if the front 3 at the time. Now I'm not saying it was Firmino, Mane, and Salah. They weren't starting. It was Diaz, Mane, and Salah. Coming to the fact that they hadn't scored in any of those finals this season to rectify what they'd done in the Premier League season. They could have won the Premier League because they had scored 3 goals against Wolves. They were just so unlucky that came into factor. What I struggle to see is, do that front 3 work in big stages like the European Cup final, where it's a massive stadium. It's a big stadium the size of France. Wembley was a big stadium, right? That's a big factor I could play as well. Does that come into the player's mind where a little bit of nervousness comes into play? Like the European Cup final in 2019 was Salah got the penalty, but it was Divock Origi who got that last minute goal. We could have won it 1-0 anyway, but what I come to worry is that does this front 3 and does the squad have the capabilities to score many goals going forward if they reach an European Cup final? If you were to ask me if am I happy with the Nunez signing and the Carvalho signing, many factors come into play. That Nunez is coming in not as a striker, in my opinion, but he's coming in as a Salah replacement in the future, because we all know that Salah is next season. He still hasn't signed the contract, and the fact is, and that's what I worry about. That if he hasn't signed a contract, then you're obviously saying that we would let him go on free next season, which is absolutely bonkers to let Salah go on free next year because how many goals he scores. who knows? That's going to drag on. It's going to be really intriguing to see how that comes into play. Grizz and I think Nunez is the alternative Salah replacement in my opinion, and Diaz is the one who's replaced Mane. Carvalho, now this is really interesting to see where he fits in. We've got a midfield right now of Fabinho, Henderson, Curtis Jones, Thiago, and Harvey Elliott. I think you'll see Harvey Elliott play a lot more. But whatever the question is, will Klopp change the system to a 4-2-3-1, and will Carvalho get a bit of game time in that attacking mid? Now, I don't know Firmino. I think Firmino can play there, but I think for club-wise, will he give Carvalho that time in a midfield position? Because I think he played in midfield or he played in the forward line for Fulham. I need to go and look more at his stats, but I think Carvalho is one potential that here that we can say that he's the missing jigsaw. What a lot of Liverpool fans have sort of played it down, said that Carvalho will need time, and this is the season he won't get as many starts. I truly believe that you'll see Carvalho in the cup competitions like the FA Cup and the League Cup, in which we've already won, but it'll give him that game time. The question will be that Carvalho and Nunez are players coming in that are replacing players that will go next season. Salah is one of them, and Ox is one of them.
Liaz, I want to get your opinion on what Stephen said earlier about the strike force, our new strike force. And I think Stephen is suggesting he has a slight worry about the strike force as a collective. Correct me if I'm wrong, Stephen, but he has a slight concern. As an rival.
Sorry, Chris. I think I'm saying that. I wouldn't already be worried about Nunez and Carvalho coming in.
Okay.
I think Nunez will gel well. I think he'll give Nunez a start. Like, for example, the first game of the season for him, it'll be Diaz, Nunez, and Salah, in my opinion. Jota for me is good, but
so your concern is more. You're interested more in seeing sort of how Carvalho will elevate his game and Nunez in terms of the long term. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yes.
You're interested in seeing how Carvalho is going to fit into this day? Because are you like me? I'm a massive Fabio Carvalho fan. I think he's the one that is being slept on. Everyone's talking about Haaland and everyone's talking about Nunez and sort of even Alvarez at Man City is getting a lot of hype. But this kid that's come from Liaz, do you know much about this kid that we brought from Fulham? Have you seen much of him? Fabio Carvalho. I've been saying it. Like, price doesn't matter to me. So Nunez, 85 million, Carvalho, 5 million. I don't give a shit. I look at the player. I look at his style, playing style. I'm envisaging how he's going to link up with Diaz and Bobby. Is giving me futsal vibes already. I love the kid. Do you know much about him? And tell us what you think about him. And then if you could just address Stephen's point about how he thinks Nunez is going to sort of be the Salah replacement long term, and we've just brought it forward.
I've seen a bit of Carvalho. I think he's really, really talented. I agree with you. I don't know how much I expect him to contribute this season, but I think long term, and I've been saying this about Liverpool. For me, as a Man United fan, I look at what Liverpool has been doing the last few years in the last few transfer windows. And it kind of reminds me of what Fergie used to do with his United teams. Like, Fergie would have these great United teams, but he'd bring in a Nani and an Anderson who are like 20 and 21 years old, and people would question, how do they get into this team? But they're not meant to get into the team right now. They're meant to provide great squad depth to a great team. And then in 3 years, when the likes of Ronaldo are leaving and Giggs is kind of declining, Anderson and Nani are already there that you got for prices that you wouldn't have had to pay 2 years later. So you're competing with one of the best squads in the world, one of the best first 11s in the world, which we absolutely know Liverpool have. You can't do that going far in 4 competitions, but also with the likes of Konate, with the likes of Carvalho now, with the likes of Harvey Elliott as well. Who else do you have? Nunez now, Jota. You're kind of building, and Trent, of course, you're kind of building the next Liverpool team while you contend with the current one. And in that sense, I really admire the business Liverpool are doing in that regard.
I tend to agree with you. Stephen, I want to ask you, because there's a few people that are asking to come on because they've been waiting quite a while and they're saying, like, please give us a chance. But before I let you go, I'm going to ask you, are you happy with, if there was no more signings, are you okay to go with this squad in the season, or have you got any worries?
Yeah, I think overall, what I've said about Nunez and Cavani, I think the front line is definitely something that I can get behind. Like which what people forget is we've replaced Mane. Like people, there's some Liverpool fans that are sad to see Mane go. I'm sort of okay because I think he's done what he's had to do. I think Nunez coming in will definitely rationalize what people think he will do. I think Nunez will definitely surprise a lot of people. In my opinion, like who's to say he'll compete for the Golden Boot alongside Salah? Who knows? It's gonna be his first season. It's definitely gonna be really hard, Grizz. For any new players coming to Liverpool,
Yeah, of course, of course.
gel to club's squad. I think the major worry I would have if we were not to sign anyone else would be the midfield. We've only got Hendo, Thiago, Fabinho as our starters. Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones are coming in, and Naby Keita as well. Now we all think Naby Keita can do something, right? But he's far too injury prone for me to say that Keita will definitely be the jigsaw going forward. That he'll get many games under his belt. If I just don't think that we can concede about that going forward. That too many injuries will hit us again. I genuinely believe we'll need another midfielder to help the body size wise of the squad. That we need him like. There's a lot of people saying Jude Bellingham is coming. He may not come. He may not even come to Liverpool. We may have to win next season to do it, and or there may be a chance we may not get Bellingham. But we need someone like a Bellingham or a midfielder to come in, and then at a fair price as well. Obviously, like to do fair prices. So the fact is, we need to. I think we need a midfielder. I think we need another midfielder to ease the pain of not having any injuries in the midfield because it just happens too much with these players that we've got so far. You know what I mean? I think letting Gini go was a big regret as well. But here, what can you do? What can you do? It's a situation we're in.
Absolutely, absolutely. Listen, Stephen, it's been a pleasure talking to you, my friend. Thank you very much for coming on. Hope to chat to you soon, man. Appreciate the call.
Cheers,
Thank
man.
you, bro.
Cheers, mates.
Nice one.
Cheers, lads.
Bye bye. I haven't asked your opinion on Nunez to Liverpool. What did you think? What did you think of that signing at the time? In terms of price, in terms of stylistically, how do you see him in a like the way we play and the Klopp way of playing?
It's a very iffy signing for me. I can't lie to you. Kind of the same things that we talked about with Haaland. I kind of see the same thing with Nunez and Klopp. Since he's been Liverpool, I don't think you guys have ever played with an out and out like the mold of an old school number 9 like Darwin Nunez. You had Firmino, you had Jota playing in that as a forward with the changes of Salah and Mane, and then even Mane last year was playing as the central player. It's never been a tall goal scoring forward like a Nunez. So
the only person was Origi, but he never played him. So that tells you, yeah.
He had Benteke at the start, if you remember when he took over from Rodgers, and that didn't last very long as well either. So, of course, it's just like Haaland. I think both parties are going to have to adapt. I'm interested in seeing how having a number 9 now affects Salah, because Salah and Mane used to love coming into that space that Firmino would leave when he dropped in deep. How does that change now when you have a guy in the box? So I'm interested in seeing that. But look, off the one season that we've really seen him, he's looked phenomenal. His goal-scoring instincts are phenomenal. Is he technically the cleanest player in the world? He's not Firmino, but I think the thing that you have to remember is this is Liverpool and this is Klopp and this is their recruitment, and you guys almost never miss with signings. And while I have my doubts, I'd be an idiot to write Nunez off. You have to believe that Liverpool's recruitment is going to pay off as it almost always does.
So check this out. We fucking agree near enough again on this situation. because Nunez to me, so when we played Benfica in the Champions League, we had a Benfica fan on my stream. I was doing a preview with a Benfica fan. Shout out to Johnny Alves. So we were doing a preview and added 2 other Liverpool guys, and we were talking about the Benfica people to watch out for. And I was like, watch out for oh shit, his name's gone. The speedy winger, Rafa Silva.
Yeah.
So I was like, watch out for Rafa Silva. My God, he's lightning, this and that. And everyone else was like, Chris, have you forgotten about Darwin Nunez? I said, no, I haven't forgotten about him. I know about him. Like, I'd like to think I know a bit of Darwin Nunez in European football. I just don't rate him. And their faces drop, their jaws drop. They're like, you don't rate Darwin Nunez? I said, no. What I mean by that is I don't think he's a danger to us. I think Rafa Silva will be the danger because of his pace and the way we play the high line, and he's the quickest. I later find out that Darwin Nunez is actually lightning, and he gave us hella problems, right? And so then when I found out that that's the player Klopp wants, I started looking at him more, Liaz. I started watching him more and more. And I don't mean YouTube clips. I like watching whole games, so then you can get an idea of what they're not doing as opposed to what they're only doing. And you
No
see
doubt.
YouTube clips. So, and I was trying to work out what we're seeing in him because, as you say, our transfers very rarely miss. They might not do amazing, like the worst example of a transfer for us is Keita
Yeah.
or Taki. Now, you can't say either of them are flops.
No.
They've just not been great. Everything else has been great. Like Taki, we've switched over for like double the money. We bought him for 7, sold him for 15, and he was top scorer in the cups. Naby Keita played his best season before that. He's just injured. You can't judge a player if he's not playing, you know. But Darwin Nunez, he's growing on me, Liaz. I'm not going back on my word and saying he's going to be king for us, but I see elements of his game that I think will help our team, Liaz. And one of those is we have some of the best deliveries from our fullbacks, which Jota used to capitalize on. And Jota is no 6-foot beast in the air, but he's amazing for his size. And Mane was amazing for his size. I'm just thinking this guy could eat with that kind of service. Now, I don't mean we're just going to become cross merchants, but we need variety in our game. That's one thing we get criticized for. We need a different way to skin a cat. We just play the way we play. We just play the way we play. We just play the way we would play. This could be, like we spoke about earlier, a plan B. That's the only thing that's got me a little bit excited about this one. What do you think?
I think you got it spot on. I think for me, the best teams always continue to improve, but they also continue to evolve. And I think just like we talked about with Haaland, this is a new way for City to play. Nunez is also a new way for Liverpool to play. I don't think Nunez is as good as Haaland. So at the end of the day, I have more belief in Haaland signing than I do in the Nunez signing. But again, like I said, man, you kind of summed it up. Liverpool don't miss with signings. And when they do, it's never a flop. I think he will end up being good at Liverpool. Will he? The comparisons between him and Haaland are always going to exist. Every week it's going to be, did Haaland score, did Nunez score? Of course. But I think for what Liverpool need, I think he's going to provide it. Now, you asked me, is it enough? And do the Liverpool fans who are entering the season as pessimistic as they are, and I see them, trust me, on Twitter, I see all of them. I see the spaces. But listen.
I stay away from spaces. I don't know if you noticed or you know.
Yeah, I do notice.
I stay away from spaces. That's too much for me. I can't handle it. I can't handle it. It's me. I'm the weakness, not the people in spaces.
Yeah.
Pick up yourselves. Do your thing. I'm not saying don't do your thing. I'm the weak one. I can't do it. Sorry. Yeah.
No, listen, I kind of feel the same way. But I don't know, man. Like, I look at Liverpool and I just complimented how good you guys are looking for the future. But I think this year, I think City is going to win the league again, to be honest with you. I just think they have a deeper team. I really rate Pep at over a 38-game season. Like, I think he's shown that over a 38-game season, there's almost no one better than him. And to beat him, you have to have an amazing season. And even that sometimes isn't enough. And yeah, I think City will end up winning the league, but that doesn't mean that you have to enter the season pessimistically as a Liverpool fan. I think everyone entered this season expecting City to win the league again, and Liverpool pushed them all the way to the last day. And you guys have shown, especially in these knockout games, that you're as good as anyone, if not better. So I understand the concern. The midfield, I definitely hear the shouts that you guys do need to reinforce in midfield, but there could be worse situations. Trust me, as a United fan, there could be a lot worse situations. I think Liverpool are in a healthy place right now.
Yeah, look, I don't think there's a Liverpool fan out there that doesn't think we need a midfielder. First, we need to put that out there, that the people that claim that we're top reds, I don't know what's the other term for us, man. I think top reds, I don't know.
Top reds is what we got too, so you got to think of something else.
You got top reds, okay.
You got to...
Shit, I don't know, man. I don't know what the other term is. Someone told me in the chat what the other term is. Like, the guys that only see through the rose-tinted glasses, like everything the club does is perfect. No, of course not. There is no such thing as a perfect coach, as a perfect owner, the perfect signing. There's no such thing. The perfect formation. There's no such thing. You work with what you can, and you trust the evidence that's laid before you and the process that's enabled you to reach so far. And I think even outside people, Liverpool will say the way FSG on the whole have dealt with the juggernaut that is City. Let's not get it twisted. Man City are a fucking juggernaut. They're a machine. They have the best, one of the most elite coaches of all time, armed with a state behind him. How the fuck do you fuck with that? How you fuck with that is being different, innovative, smart, recruitment, analysis, and that's what we're about. People don't, I think people underestimate the job we've done, not only in the Premier League, but in Europe. Like PSG have got similar funds, but haven't got the coach. Real Madrid, institutions, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Juve, yet
and United.
Man United, yet the only team that we can say can talk to us is Real Madrid or Man City.
Yeah.
Like they're the only teams that can talk to us because Real Madrid own Europe and Man City own the Premier League. But my God, they've got the basis and the foundations and everything else around them to do it. We're working to get there. Now, we've reached the top. Where I will criticize our owners and the way we operate is if we don't evolve from here onwards. That's where I will criticize them. But right now, I haven't got much to complain about. That's me. If you have, fair play to you, no problem. I hate policing opinions. That's your opinion. But right now, the way I look at it and the evolution of the last 5 years, I'm so, like that boxer says, I'm Field.
I'm very Field.
I'm very Field. So
I got a question for you though, Grizz.
Yeah.
You talk about the evolution thing, and that's when you'll really look at FSG. The Salah situation, 1 year left on his deal. It doesn't look like the two parties will come to an agreement. Personally, from the outside looking in, I don't know how you stand on it. How do you see Liverpool and FSG and Salah moving forward in the next year? I think it's
the way modern football is now. Not only Mohamed Salah, but Liaz, we both can reel off 4 or 5 big boys that have gone on free transfers or have worked out that have worked out their careers in their own heads rather than loyalty to a club or set of fans. Or it is what it is, right? Yeah. We're talking Messi, Mbappe, Lewandowski. Hit me with some more. I don't know. Many more.
Mbappe.
Pogba. So many players. And this is the modern day trend, Liaz. Whether we like it or not. And Liverpool fans need to accept this.
I agree.
Because look at the names we've just reeled off. And there's more. We just can't think right now because you put me right on the spot. But people will tell us more. A lot of big boys know that they can map out their careers and their families' futures just by seeing out their contract, give us X amount, or we out of here.
Yeah.
Now, people that follow me and subscribe to me will know I still believe Salah and Liverpool will come to an agreement.
Interesting.
But by every week that passes, I understand that it becomes less of a possibility. So I'm not delusional and saying, no, he's going to sign. But from people that I speak to and I trust, they suggest that both parties will come to an eventual agreement. If it doesn't fucking mean I'm in the mud. Actually, dude, you can call me in the mud or whatever. Do what you want to do. It doesn't affect me, really. I just feel as though they will come to an agreement. But if it doesn't, here's the thing where I'm a top red. If it doesn't, the process that we've shown for the situation of Mane and Bobby, in effect, by bringing in Jota and Diaz and Nunez almost under the slide, not Nunez, because Nunez came with 85 million, but the way we've revolutionized our attack by those three, all 25 and under. Jota's going to be here for years. He slept on. Luis Diaz, I think you've seen him, right?
Yeah, I love him.
Without a preseason, he just walked into this team, no way of knowing how we played, no coaching.
I'm a very big Luis Diaz fan.
Now imagine him with a preseason and coaching, right?
Quality. And
conditioning, right? And then we've got Nunez, who's an unknown quantity, but under the likes of Mbappe and Haaland, he's probably, with Nkunku, probably one of the most sought-after strikers in Europe, young strikers, right?
No doubt.
I think we've done okay within our means. Now, obviously, the big one will be Salah. And if he doesn't sign, his replacement. But again, I'm not panicking. I'm not worried. Call me delusional.
FSG and Liverpool's recruitment have given you no reason to worry because, again,
this is what I'm working with, Liaz. Yeah. We used to recruit shit we've been through the Man United phase. Fucking Downing, Benteke, Carroll, Konchesky, Julian Dix, Ruddock. We've been there.
Aquilani.
So I know what shit looks like.
Yeah.
I know what scattergun approach looks like. We don't do scattergun now. We can easily look after Shumeni was our number one target, and I told people early we wanted Shumeni. They was like, shut up. But when it came to fruition, they were like, oh my God, are we really getting him? And we were going to get him if Mbappe fell through.
So Real came in and they were angry about them missing out Mbappe. Yeah.
Simple. And we can't fuck with that, Liaz. There's some things that we have to accept. Just like we big up Liverpool and say, like Thiago only wanted us.
Yeah.
So we were hyping up that situation. Man United came for him. Barca wanted him back. There's another team. Man City asked about him, but he said, I only want Liverpool. Same like Tchouaméni, we have to accept Tchouaméni only wanted Madrid. Yeah. He was flirting with us. Okay. But as soon as Madrid come, Familia, I'm going to Madrid. And we have to accept that. So with the Salah situation, as mad as it sounds, I'm still relaxed. Even though he's going into the last year of his contract, I'm still relaxed. We need to get some more callers. I think we got Jamie Phillips. Jamie Phillips adding to the stream. Welcome to the stream, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing good, mate. I'm doing good. How are you too?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
I can't believe we had a bit of Love Island talk at the beginning. I didn't know that bit.
Jamie, I can safely say that was the last time that happened. But only because of Liaz, because he's
you're on your guest.
Yeah, exactly. I had to welcome him and speak about what he's comfortable with, and he's obviously comfortable with Love Island.
Settle him in nicely. That's
exactly. What do you want to talk about, Jamie? How are you?
So obviously I'm doing well, mate. Obviously I want to talk about the greatest club in the world, Liverpool Football Club, and to be honest, I'm really annoyed. Our fan base is absolutely crazy at this moment in time, and I keep saying this on my channel as well. Like, I'm quite a positive outlook. I've got a positive outlook in life, so I don't look at negativity a lot. So I'm quite a positive person. So I'm apparently a top red because I'm a positive person. I don't know what top red means, by the way. When I was 12 years old, I had top red membership for Liverpool Football Club. So as far as I'm concerned, that's what it meant.
Yeah, once a top red, always a top red. That's it.
But I always see two things, both sides of the coins. I think that's the best way to look at everything in life, not only just football, both sides of the coin. And the way I am with the Liverpool fan base right now, 8 weeks ago, I had Liverpool fans, especially on my channel, coming up to me and going, this is the best squad we've ever had I've ever been since I'm a Liverpool fan. 8 weeks later to now, the season's over before it starts. I just don't get the mentality of this football club. Look, yes, we need players. Of course we do. Of course we do. We do need players. Oh, hang on. Sorry. My wife is calling me. My daughter's really ill. I've got to go. Sorry.
No worries, man. All the best.
I kind of want to follow up on what he's saying, to be honest with you, because I agree with football. Margins in football are so small, Grizz. It's crazy because I was even saying it at the time. Liverpool were literally a Villa holding on to a lead away, and then also taking one of their thousands of chances against Madrid.
Liaz, this is how I look at it, right? And I've been but giving my opinion on it.
Yeah,
we were an elite goalkeeper putting in a man of the match performance. He's one of the all-time greats of the last decade, Courtois, right? Thibaut Courtois is one of the great keepers of the last decade. He was given man of the match. He was given man of the match for a fucking reason. And then we were within 15 minutes of winning, of overhauling a 14-point gap on one of the greatest teams the Premier League has ever seen. Those margins are so small. You can't suddenly say, like a lot of people were saying, not me, but a lot of Liverpool fans were saying, this is the greatest Liverpool. Yeah. This is the greatest team. We need to be spoken about. And there's too many extremes, Liaz. We jump from extreme to extreme, and that's what happens is that irks different sections of fan base, and that they stick to their opinion and this just refuse to be flexible about it. That's my point I'm trying to make.
I look at it like I agree. You guys were an elite, one of the greatest Champions League final performances from a goalkeeper ever, plus Villa holding on from footballing immortality, a quadruple, unprecedented in England. That's how I call it, footballing immortality. You were also, to be fair, 2 penalties away from finishing the season trophyless. But that's football, and that's what I'm saying. The margins are so tiny that to basically put your view on your permanent view on this team based on how the margins fall is unrealistic. I think you have to look at it. For me, the best way to judge a team and how sustainable they are is over how they did in the 38-game season. And again, you were 1 point away, I think it was 1 or 2 points away from overtaking one of the greatest domestic sides we have seen in this country ever. I think you have to look at that and be confident about your chances in all the competitions next season. Again, I agree. I think that it's never nice to sit still. Like I said, the best always have to keep getting better. And City have shown.
Agree.
Yeah.
Agree.
But you can also, like you said, you can only do what you can do. There's no point in buying players just for the sake of it. Your main target in midfield was Tchouaméni. You weren't able to get him. I see people still sticking on Bellingham. It's never going to happen this summer. I can guarantee you Bellingham will not leave Dortmund. Dortmund would rather play by their own rules than make more money this summer than they could next. That's just the way they function. So if that's the case, what do you want to do? Go buy Kalvin Phillips instead of City just to say you bought a midfielder? Where does he fit into your team? What's the purpose of buying him? That's the way I see it. I think Liverpool fans need to just live life a little calmer. The extremes are not the way to look at the sport, in my opinion.
Liaz, I am actually... You're a Man United fan. And the first time you come... And no. What I mean by this is, look, first time you've come on my channel, we haven't... And people, if they think this has been scripted or whatever...
Yeah, that's the first time we speak.
I swear to you, we haven't spoken on this topic, even on Twitter, right? We haven't even exchanged to and fro about this. But you have, in my humble opinion, nailed the situation. Like, that's the way to look at it, because that's the facts in front of you. The facts are everything we've said. We haven't given an opinion yet. We can only speculate what's going to happen in the future. How you speculate, in my opinion, is by looking at the history, right? And by looking at actual facts. And the actual facts were, we entered 4 trophies, 4 competitions, and we played every single game in every competition, won 2 of them, and fucking came within whiskers of the other 2. Yeah. So that happened 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, 4 or 5 weeks ago. Yeah. Suddenly, the title's over. It's finished. It's dead. There's no point entering. We're way behind, But we've got a super chat before I get in. Quasi in the background. I'm going to get you on Quasi next if you're ready. Shaq says, what's Leah's expectations of Ten Hag's first season?
It depends on who they sign, but let's say United signs Frankie de Jong, and I don't even know who the backup is. Like, after we signed de Jong, I have no idea who the targets are at this point. They're looking at Eriksen as well. I think will end up being a United player. And let's say he signs either Martinez or Antony. I don't think United will finish top 4 next season. I think if they want to be in the Champions League the season following, they're going to have to win the Europa League. My expectation personally as a United fan and as someone who's seen bigger names than Ten Hag fail at this club, I think I want to see Ten Hag actually implement a style of play at United, something that I haven't seen done, honestly, since Van Gaal was at the club. A coach come in and want to see his team play a specific way, a bit like what happened when Klopp came to Liverpool. The results weren't there the first season, but you could see within weeks, if not months, how he wants his team to play once he does get his players. And that was always my thing with Oli, and that even when we were getting results at times, I never saw it as a sustainable thing, because I thought that at times we were almost playing to the other team to get a result. And I knew that eventually that was going to fall on its sword. So I want to see Ten Hag implement a sustainable style of playing that I can look at as a United fan and say, even if we finish 6th next year, I'm confident that as long as we keep adding better players, the results will improve because the style of play is sustainable. So that's really my hope with Ten Hag. But I'm also a realistic in the situation that, again, I almost feel like every manager that comes to the club, no matter what the higher ups say, is set up to fail in a way. And I don't think Ten Hag should be... I mean, at the end of the day, United has to be challenging for trophies, but I don't see, unless we hire a Pep or a Klopp, someone who can come in immediately and turn these guys into title challengers. And I think when we fired Oli, everyone expected that to be the case. It's very evident that is not the case.
Yeah, look, I pretty much agree. As long as Ten Hag shows something, shows a way of playing, shows a philosophy, implements his style, and then not only implements his style, but brings in the players that he knows will implement his style, as opposed to just buying random players and then trying to fit them into like square pegs.
I think this guy just talked about Pep in his first season. That's the perfect example for me. Pep actually came, 4th his first season. I remember the 4-0 against Everton like it was yesterday. he had a few humblings, but you could see the vision from early. And then the next summer he comes in, every fullback at the club, you're out of here. I'm bringing in my own guys just to change the way I want to play. But you could see from the first game, that's the way he wants to play. If that can happen with Ten Hag, as long as we don't like finish 10th, which is crazy to say as a United fan, I'm happy to give the guy time. I think United.
But check this out.
Go ahead.
But check this out. Pep, Jurgen Klopp, and Liverpool fans, Jurgen Klopp walked into a team that finished 6th or 8th. I can't even remember now.
One of the two, yeah.
All right, and he fucking took us to a League Cup final against Man City in his first season with a horrible team, Liaz. If I remember, people quickly, one of my Liverpool people, type in the Liverpool team. We can have a laugh together.
I can probably remember. It was like Mignolet, Nathaniel Klein.
Horrible. Yeah. Adam Lallana, Coutinho, Lucas Leiva in midfield with fucking horrible, man. Horrible team. But the point being, he took that bunch of players in his first game. He went and got a 0-0 at Spurs, and people could see, okay, the way we just played, straight away. And it took us to a Europa Cup final against Sevilla, who owned the Europa League. In those days, they owned the Europa League, and Man City in the Champions League, and they beat us on penalties. So, talk about impact. The impact Jurgen Klopp made. Oh my God. I hope she's okay, Jamie. That's the first and foremost, man. I hope your daughter's okay. Our best wishes and prayers out to her, man. But yeah, listen, people are saying in the chat, there's a question I want to, where is it gone? Inter Milan resident fan Bashar says, in Italy, they are talking about the LFC pushing for Barella. For us, is he untouchable? But he would be the kind of, would he be the kind of player for Klopp?
Definitely. I like Barella.
The bad news for you is we like Barella, and he's one of the names on our list, according to what I know. The good news for you is I think we're gonna wait for Bellingham, and clip this if you want, but I think Jude Bellingham will become a Liverpool player. So for that reason, I don't think Barella is going to be coming to Liverpool. And plus, I think Barella is one of those, he loves Italy. He wants to stay in Italy. He'd rather go to possibly another Italian club if Inter were forced into selling him, because I don't know the financial situation of Inter. They may be forced to sell one or two, maybe out of him or Lautaro.
With the Skriniar sale, I think that will be
with the Skriniar balancing up. Exactly. I'm going to put in Quasi into the stream. Quasi, my man, hope you're well.
Hey, I'm doing well, brother. How you guys doing?
Good, bro. Good.
Fantastic, man. Good chatting to you as always.
I'm a big fan. I like your work. Although you tend to play a lot of shade on Liverpool. That's okay, because I do the same with Man U. So.
My guy. Yeah. Much love, man. Much love.
Yeah. Hey, brother. I was just going to jump on Jamie's. I'm going to finish it for Jamie. But honestly, I am so frustrated with Liverpool fans. Right now, people are literally questioning Klopp. And they get the people who say Liverpool fans who are just happy to go along with everybody, they're doing the same thing that they say we are happy for. You are angry. So the question is, why are you angry? Because we are not buying players like City. We need midfields. We all agree we need midfielders, right? So now, are you questioning Klopp? Because a couple of weeks ago, it was Klopp is the best manager in the world.
Ever,
right? And then now it's like, since you can't say FSG out because Klopp has signed a new contract, now it's like a whole different conversation, right? So I think, personally, I saw a couple of videos today that I felt disrespected for Klopp, and I see why rival fans says that we never appreciated Mane. Because when something doesn't go the way they like it, what is it? Toxic.
Throw the toys out the pram is the phrase I think people use. Yeah.
So just because you think that we need a midfielder and Klopp feels like, hey, I can go without a midfielder, which we already have, 7 of them? Now it's like, oh, Klopp, what are you doing? I'm terrified. I'm like, yo, remember the last time I was here, I said we both lost our mind when Klopp did not buy any player after the Champions League. And the man walked through the league. Literally, we won the league from the first game. Lance, will you disagree? Because, we didn't lose until what? the following year or something like that.
I can't disagree whatsoever. Here's the one thing I will say, though. I don't know how you guys will reciprocate this. I feel like Klopp this year probably has to utilize his squad a bit better. And I say that because it seems from the outside looking in that he does have his favorites, and rightfully so. They're great servants to the club. They constantly perform. But I think you saw with Thiago's injuries this year, there wasn't much rotation in that midfield. And I look at Oxlade-Chamberlain, for example. I don't know how you guys feel about him. But I feel like going into this season, he is going to have to be a guy that Klopp puts more trust into, because the truth is Thiago's injury crisis is known. Keita's injury crisis is known. Henderson is not getting any younger. Fabinho is a rock. But I think even himself, I think the fatigue got to him near the end of the season. He looked shaky at the game at the end of the year. I think you look at guys like Ox, Milner even, listen, they're not at the level of a Thiago or Keita. No getting away from that. A Curtis Jones, a Harvey Elliott. I think he's going to have to put more faith into these guys if he is to replicate what he was able to do last season, if not go another level. That's the way I kind of see it. But you're absolutely right, Kwasi. I mean, 2019, everyone wrote off Liverpool. They didn't make a single first outfield signing. It's the same squad that lost the City in the league the year before, and everyone wrote them off. And look what they were able to do. So, I completely agree in that sense.
But shall I tell you what it is, guys? Again, and I don't know what you guys think about this, right? But check this out, because it's all about context and perspective. Liaz, imagine we signed Nunez, Carvalho, and Ramsey in the last week of the window.
Yeah.
Imagine we've done that. 100%, yes or no?
Yeah, 100%.
We'd be buzzing to go into the season.
Yep.
Just because we've been efficient, calculated, organized, everything is done. Now, if Dortmund want to talk, we're ready to talk. If not, no problem. Klopp trusts the same team that he had 5 weeks ago. Klopp trusts the same squad, minus Mane, but add all the other guys that I've said we've brought in, all right? He trusts that squad, or essentially the same midfield, because no midfielder is leaving. He trusts the same midfield that 5 weeks ago, Liaz's words, which were echoing what I've been saying, and Kwasi, I've been saying on my channel, and I've been getting blasted from sections and praise from sections, but that's the game, because when we're content creators giving an opinion, we have to take the rough with the smooth.
Yes,
so this is the same squad. This is the same squad that 4 weeks you guys were saying, oh my days, this Liverpool. I've been supporting Liverpool for 45 years. I've been supporting Liverpool for 35 years. I've been supporting. This is the greatest team, the squad, the manager, fucking immortality, quadruple every week, quadruple. I was like, relax with the quadruple talk. Relax with the quadruple talk. Now, because we're not signing one midfielder, City have walked the league. Jurgen Klopp needs to be questioned, because, as you say, they can't question FSG, because FSG are saying, who do you want? We try to get him.
Exactly.
Bellingham is not possible. Liaz is saying it from the outside, not being a Liverpool fan. Dortmund don't entertain it, because they know that fee is guaranteed next season. Shulmani was our target. But he can't. His dream was Madrid. You can't ruin a guy's dream. He won't fucking let his dream get ruined. He wants to go to Madrid. We're not happy with going for a Sangare. We're not overly convinced of a Kone from Borussia Mönchengladbach. We may still dip in the market. But all my point is, we can't go from the extreme of give up. Yeah. We're giving up. At the start of the season, Man City have smashed this league. They may smash this league.
Right.
But we can't say from the extreme, from being immortal to saying, you know what, Klopp needs to be questioned. What the fuck?
You know the crazy thing is, they will say, which I know the rival fan will tell us, they hate this. Oh, Klopp will make this player the best player ever. Now they say, well, we can't find another Salah, so we need to sign Salah because we can't find another Salah. Well, Salah was not Salah when he came in. Yeah. The same price that you're giving to Klopp is how Salah became Salah. So
Bobby wasn't no Bobby when Klopp came in. Bobby was a fucking used as a right wing back by Brendan Rodgers.
I remember those days.
You get what I mean? So Jurgen Klopp saw him as a false nine. Otherwise, he was an attacking midfielder from Hoffenheim.
Mm-hmm.
Sadio Mane was bought as an erratic, but you could see the raw talent for Southampton.
Mm-hmm.
35 million people were like, whoa.
Raw
35 million
talent.
for 7. Mohamed Salah failed at Chelsea, went to Italy, rebuilt his career, but people were saying, Chelsea flop. These guys, Andrew Robertson from Hull, relegation team.
I remember Van Dijk, guys. The way people were talking about Van Dijk. What the hell are Liverpool spending all this money on? Like, this is overpriced. Yeah.
Pixelated Pigeon says, I don't know anything about this LFC hysteria. During summer, I stopped reading Reddit and Twitter. The holy trifecta of grounded LFC content for me is Grizz, Redman, and for Rap. I'm humbled to be mentioned in those other channels, man.
Those are
Big up Redman and Anfield Rap every time anyway, because they're my people as well. So thank you very much for the kind words. Brad sends in a super chat. And this is for you, Leas. He says, Peppers, how do you say that?
I think it's just Tiki, right?
Tiki,
Yeah. How do you say the surname?
Begaristan, I think.
Begaristan, yeah.
Something like that.
No, that's why I asked you. You good?
Yeah, no, he's the guy who was with him at Barca. City poached him, and now he's his right-hand man at City again.
So Ten Hag? Who's Ten Hag's?
Murto. Listen, this is the way I look at United, right? I was someone who probably went over the top with Rangnick. I was very excited about the appointment. I had in this fantasy of mine that it's going to be Rangnick until the summer. We get Ten Hag and the two work hand in hand together. And that clearly didn't work out. And Murto, I know there was a lot of buzz, and Richard Arnold, they parade themselves as they're not Woodward. It's a new people who are footballing guys. But so far, how many weeks into the window, I'm not convinced that anything is different. So for me, I'm at a position with United where I'll believe it when I see it. These guys have to convince me at this point now that things are changing. I don't buy into the hype anymore of them.
And you know the crazy thing about Liverpool fans, right? Today I'm on Liverpool fans.
Quick shout out to Shaq, new YouTube member. Big up yourself.
Well,
Sorry.
Shaq.
There you go.
Sorry, Quasi.
There was a Liverpool fan went on a Man U fan content creator and literally ranted, right? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, why don't you ask the Man U guy if he would love to be in where we are right now?
I'd love to be an Arsenal situation. Forget about Liverpool. Liverpool, we're dreaming.
You see what I'm saying? And he's ranting like, I'm like, okay, listen. Even the content creators was telling Man U fans, y'all need to relax. This is a whole new regime. We need to give him time to do what he wants to do. It's going to be hard. He's not just going to show up and, Man United, and then they're showing up. No.
Yeah, you're right.
We want to see history a little bit. We want to see if you have credit, And he's ranting, calling Liverpool fans who say, hey, we got to wait and see what's going on. Different kind of names, and Klopp doesn't know what he's doing after went almost immortal, right? And then today, it really hurt me because that fan channel really like him. And a fan called Klopp, or basically called the whole fandom, like passion merchant. I'm like, Liverpool, I turned off the channel. And I think at the very root of it, it all comes down to, and you guys can disagree if you'd like, let me know. Yeah. But I think a lot of Liverpool fans have basically put so much of their investment and their agenda into bigging up every single player at the club and Klopp to all-time level. Mm-hmm. And that for them, they know that they don't probably have the resume to back it up. For example, when they're talking about, I don't know, this player is the best player of all time, or Klopp should be in the Fergie conversations, but he probably doesn't have the trophies to show for it. And when they see FSG not backing this group of individuals as much to possibly get those trophies that they can, again, further push those agendas, it aggravates them. Because, again, their invested agenda is probably more so in the player or the coach, more so than it is Liverpool being a sustainable project and being able to compete at the top year in, year out. Right. And Lias, how many times were you upset that Man U overpaying a player?
Yes, every time.
Barcelona is bankrupt right now. They're basically in the strip club doing everything and anything just to bring players. But yet we got LFC fans still talking about, we got to buy this. I'm like, no, yes, I didn't want money. Grace will tell you, we did not want money to go. Whether it was because of money or whatever the reason is, the man is gone. Salah, we don't know what's going on. I'm with Grace. I think he's going to resign. But at the end of the day, it's not the name at the back. Sorry, this is Ghana. But
big up Ghana every time still.
It's the crest. And Liverpool, Man U also have done this. This is probably the only one of few things that I agree with Man U fans. We bring players who become bigger than everything, right? Suarez left. Torres left.
Yeah,
Steven
Coutinho.
G, the only player that will ever put his name on the back of my jersey.
There's no player that is bigger than Manchester United or Liverpool. There isn't.
Beckham.
The closest player, okay, for Man United was Cristiano Ronaldo. But you still won stuff after Ronaldo.
We went to a Champions League two seasons after he left. We won the league 2 seasons after he left. Life goes on.
Life goes on. Cristiano Ronaldo is literally in probably the conversations of the greatest player ever, but he's not bigger than Man United. We had Kenny Dalglish leave us. You know, King Kenny, we call him.
Yeah.
Did Liverpool close the doors and say, okay?
What about Rashi?
But that's my point. Look, check this one out. So this guy's he's saying it again and again, and I like to answer people, you know, because no, not this one. It's the same guy, but where is he? He thinks I'm not. Look, here we go. What's Liverpool weaknesses?
Can I answer that before you, Grizz?
Yeah.
I think Liverpool's weakness, if as an outsider, I think is they're very one-dimensional. I think that's the biggest thing I noticed when I watch Liverpool, and that you have a way of beating teams, but when it doesn't work, for example, the Champions League final, it kind of reverts to just cross, and hope someone can get on at the end of it. I think that's the biggest thing for me. And you guys have been improving. The Thiago signing for me has kind of changed the way Liverpool have played. I'm interested in seeing now with Nunez. It's a new way of playing, but in the past, I think that's the Liverpool weakness, and that's probably the only one I can really think of.
The reason why I brought this up is because AK probably is insinuating I don't think Liverpool have a weakness. I've never said that. Here's my opinion on Liverpool's weakness. I think the lack of goals and the lack of aggressive attacking from our central midfielders is a major weakness for us. We are very aggressive in our defensive press,
right?
But we're not aggressive in our attacking play from our midfield. And that is something that I would love to address or get addressed in the summer or whenever, because the lack of goals, and not only goals, but our creation as well. I think Klopp relies on Henderson doing a certain job, and I think he relies on the left side 8 to do a certain job. I genuinely think this season we will have an extra attacker in the formation, in the way we play, and that's the way I think we can.
And I will concur, because I'll even equate it to Golden State Warriors, right? When they play, Henderson's to me is like Draymond Green.
What sport is this, by the way? You know me.
Basketball.
I don't know.
I got you, Kwasi. Go ahead, bro. I got you.
Draymond Green gets a lot of open chances to shoot threes.
Mm-hmm.
And when he gets the chance, most teams, what do they do last? They let him shoot. So go ahead.
Let him shoot, bro.
Right? That's the same problem we have with Henderson. He gets a lot of opportunity chances to shoot or try to put the ball in the back of the net. But what does he do? He tries to give that chip to the corner, trying to create something else. Right? So, yes, Henderson does everything we want him to do perfectly. The only thing we don't get from him is goals, because he's always at the advanced role a lot of times. You know, he arrives at the box and then he wants to pass it instead. Same thing with Draymond Green. He will show up, okay, shoot it, and then he will pass it, trying to find Steph Curry or Klay Thompson or anybody else. You know, but once in a while he will shoot and then Draymond will make a three. Same thing with Henderson. How many goals have Henderson shot from outside the box? And we were like, what was that? You know? So
100%.
Guys, Klopp knows this. This is a guy that people have wrote a book. Pep wrote a whole paragraph. Nobody has ever read a chapter on me. I mean, a paragraph. He wrote a whole chapter on Klopp. You think he doesn't know that? Now, let's ask them, which midfielder besides you that everybody's hyping that we think will be a better fit for LFC? Because remember, LFC is a machine. We can't just buy any ordinary parts and just put it in there.
Yeah.
So you gotta remember. Sometimes you gotta remember that the reason why possibly, I'm not saying for certain, But you got to remember, possibly one of the reasons Jurgen Klopp only wants the elite and number one target and not his third, fourth choice, because you got to remember, if Tchouaméni was first choice, Bellingham is second, that means he's being asked to look at third or fourth choices. He just doesn't operate like that from what we know of him. He may be changing, he may have a different mindset now, but history suggests that he wants Konate, he wants Van Dijk, he wants Naby. You know, he wants the players that he wants. He wants Alisson. He don't mind waiting a season. We waited for Van Dijk. We waited for Alisson. We waited for Naby. Naby hasn't been amazing.
Konate too, guys. Don't forget that you literally took a defender on loan because you didn't want to invest the funds at that moment. There you go.
We wanted Konate, and now tell me, is there a better young centre back in world football than Ibrahima Konate? The guy's 22. And the guy's 22. Here's
another thing too, right? With the Tchouaméni and the Bellingham thing, right? There's wanting different midfielders, and then there's also Tchouaméni might be the number one, I don't know, Fabinho backup. Bellingham is not that guy. Bellingham is not a guy that you're going to come in as an alternative to Tchouaméni. They're very different profiles.
Yeah, two profiles. Yeah.
I think that's another thing too, right? If you're looking for a Henderson replacement, I don't think Tchouaméni was ever going to be that guy to play on the right-hand side of Thiago and Fabinho. It was never going to be that midfield three. Bellingham, okay, he comes into that position. That's another thing too. Like, you just have to be very careful of what you're asking for. And this is the silly season for a reason. People see the big names and they envision them in the current team they have, and all of a sudden, Tchouaméni, Fabinho, Thiago are winning the league. How does it fit? How does it function as a three? Right. That's why guys like Michael Edwards and now Julian Ward, right?
I was about to get on that. Yeah. And Grace, please let me know. Everybody say FSG out. Yes, they did a few things that, trust me, if I find Henry around anywhere here, I'm gonna have questions for him, right? But which team that everybody is modeling their whole structure on? Manchester United is trying to go after a Liverpool sporting director.
Legend. He's a legend for us, in my opinion. Michael Edwards is a legend, in my opinion.
And also, when LeBron became a billionaire, you know what was the first thing they say he owns? Liverpool. Everybody say, "Oh yeah, he owns Liverpool." They don't say Red Sox, because he's a part owner of Red Sox too. That means right now LFC is at the point where we are 500 million away from catching Manchester United. And if you don't know what Manchester United, that business juggernaut is, you guys need to understand.
You don't know your history.
We were 20 years behind Manchester United, and we are
100%
there within 10 to 15 years. People, you guys don't understand. Klopp.
They don't. I just want to shout out, if that's my man Skull Thuggery in the chat, can you message me so I can mod you up? If it ain't, get a life trying to be Skull. But if it is, message me and I'll mod you up.
This guy's the goat, Skull Thuggery. His videos are too funny.
I know, I have to be careful. That's what I'm saying. He's lurking in my fucking chat and he's ready to pick me up. That's what I'm scared of, really. I'm shitting myself. If that's him, I'm going to block you. You know what I mean?
Chris, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
I have a belief, maybe it's a dream, right? I seriously think that Klopp vision for LFC midfield future was Gavi, Tchouaméni, Jude, and then Cavallo.
Listen,
that's a midfield right there.
But listen,
that's why I felt like,
But listen, but again, if that was his vision and every one of those players was wanted by Liverpool, I can tell you that for a fact. Obviously, Gavi was never going to leave Barcelona. He's the golden child. He's the future of Barcelona. There'd be riots in the street if Gavi was allowed to leave Barcelona, like literal riots. We don't encourage violence on this channel. You know what I mean? But I'm telling you, there would have been because
he's the equivalent of if Liverpool let Trent leave. Let's be honest.
No, Gavi is generational. We're going to see in the next decade or so, Gavi is the truth. So look at the ID, look at the ID talent of Jurgen Klopp. He wants the best, so we have to be patient. We can't. But look, the best example is this summer is Man City. We need a goal scorer. Go and get Haaland.
Yep.
We need a left back as a backup. Go and spend 50 million Cucurella. We need a backup for the boy we spoke about, Rodri. Let's go and pick up. Let's go and pick up Kalvin Phillips. We need a backup. We need a backup for Jesus. Let's go and pick up Alvarez. We can't do shit like that,
Here's
man.
the thing,
Every
too.
window.
Grizz, you forget too that City last season basically turned their back on Harry Kane. They were in negotiations with him. They put 2 bids in and they were rejected both times. And instead of biting the bullet and buying a guy that, let's be honest, would have probably scored 30 goals for them that season, decided, okay, we're going to wait a year, see our options. Maybe Harry Kane is available and maybe something better and younger is available, and they ended up getting Haaland. So, like I said, it's a silly season, man. People's eyes light up and they see these big names and they see them linked to their clubs, and all sense of logic just kind of flies out the window.
100%.
That doesn't work. And if anybody knows, is a Man U fan, because they tried for 10 years straight.
That's our bread and butter, my brother.
They tried for 10 years straight, and now look what what's name doing. And with Manchester United, also your business plan is different. You know, I think 45% is owned by the stock exchange, right?
Yeah.
So that's why the dividends tend to come out, because people got to get paid. Hey, I put money in, I need my money back. But I think now it's gonna work if they follow Ten Hag. If they follow him with him, and you get Edwards. Oh, if you get Edwards, I'm hating Manchester United so much. So I can.
Quasi, you there? Quasi,
yes, sir. I'm
internet.
here.
Okay, you're back. Yeah, I can. You there? You there?
Yeah.
I'm here.
I was gonna say, I don't think we need to worry about Edwards taking another Premier League job, or in fact another director of role. I don't think he's going to be.
I thought he was going to Real Madrid when they kind of announced that he was leaving Liverpool. Real Madrid was the team that was like linked with Michael Edwards the most.
Every big team wants Michael Edwards, but from the time that he left, and I tweeted at the time, he left Liverpool for nothing to do with football, money, the role. He left because he had different interests in life. His job, his career aspirations are totally away from football. He's big, man, in other walks of life. So that's from my understanding. Unless he's changed his mind or whatever, that can happen. But I personally don't see him taking a role at Chelsea or Man United. Oh, it would hurt. It would hurt. Like,
oh yeah, I mean, remember last time I was here, I said Chelsea's owner, that guy doesn't like to lose. He's very, very savvy. He's just like Henry. I mean,
the new owner, he's American, right?
He's American. Yeah, he owns Dodgers. Dodgers is a big team. You know, the Major League Baseball team.
And guess what he said?
I want to run it just like Liverpool.
Yeah, I want to run my club and the whole structure like Liverpool. So it's not so bad. It's not so bad.
I don't know what to tell you, but we're doing it right now. We're doing it right. Yes, we're not going to be perfect all the time.
No, of course not.
We're not going to be perfect all the time. The owners
like I said about United, right? I'm waiting for them to prove me wrong. Just like you guys should be waiting for FSG to prove you wrong.
Exactly.
Once FSG starts messing up in the window, and I don't know, they go and let Salah go, and his replacement is Bowen, and Bowen scores 5 goals, then okay, you can start piping up. But until then, the proof's in the pudding, guys. Like it's a winning formula. Until it doesn't win, you can't complain.
Quasi, we've been going for a long time, man. I'm going to try to wrap it up after the last caller. Always a pleasure, my friend.
I appreciate you guys, Leah. It's good to see you. Hopefully you come. I'm in California, by the way, so if
even when I'm in the US, I'm in New York, bro. That's far away. But nice talking to you, my guy.
Nice talking to you, man.
Take care. Bye-bye. There was one thing that I wanted to speak about before we go to the last caller. Guys, I know there's a few of you in the chat waiting, but I'm going to make this the last caller because we've been going a hell of time. There's 300 of you here nearly. You guys are sick, man. The support is mad as always. Just press that like button. That's all we ask of you, man. Just press that like button. Michael, I'm going to add the last caller of the night. Michael, you're most welcome, my friend.
My guy, Michael, what's good?
My fellow New Yorker. Let's go, Leas.
We have a United fan, finally.
Okay, so this is the USA Connect. I get it. Not only the USA Connect, but the United USA Connect.
Sir.
Take the floor.
This is a good guy right here. This is good people right here. How you doing?
Good, man. I hope you're doing well. Good. I have a question mostly because we all United need like 155 million players because we're struggling. But obviously midfield is the biggest question mark. But I know we had questions about right wing Anthony. I know the Juego Bonito guy, aesthetics, love it. We know he's at 80 million. But my take is that I think United need to adjust the fullback situation first because I think fullbacks are the most important. I think Grizz could attest to that with Liverpool. You have the best. You have arguably the best fullback combo in the world with Robertson, Trent. Since I'm Greek, Tsimikas, that's a franchise player right there as well. I would take him at United every day of the week, starting left back right there. So, would you address the fullback situation first or the winger? Because obviously, I think the only winger we're really linked to is Anthony, who's like 80 mil.
I'm not 100% sold on Anthony. I can't lie. I like as the founding father of Aesthetics FC. I have to respect him, but for that price, I don't think it's enough. I haven't seen enough to justify that price. And I'm very concerned, to be honest with you, that every single player we're linked with is from the Dutch league. Because even before we hired Ten Hag, I've been on the record saying that there isn't a league in Europe, in my opinion, where there's less of a success rate than going from the Dutch league to the Premier League. We've seen, Graziano Pella. I remember, who was it that signed for Middlesbrough? I can't remember his name. Alfonso Alves. He was tearing it up in the Dutch league, and he comes to England. He's a shadow of his former self. I've seen Ziyech, for example, Donny van de Beek. Of course, there are some exceptions, and I think playing for Ten Hag is obviously a much smoother transition than if he were to go to a different team. But I still have my reservations on that. I'm with you with the fullbacks. And to be honest, Michael, I've been on the record a few times saying I think Ten Hag has a vision for United that he wants them playing 3 in the back next season. Because I look at the amount of left-sided center backs that he's reportedly after, and it just seems to me that unless he's able to offload Harry Maguire, I don't think Maguire next season is going to be a player who's just on the bench. I think he's going to try to get the best out of him and Varane. And I think this left-sided center back is someone that he's bringing in because he wants to transition to a back 3. And that's all fine, because actually I think if Frankie and Eriksen are our midfield targets, it kind of offsets the need for a defensive midfielder, because he would have that much more protection behind him in a back 3. But then I look at the wing-back situation if we are to play 3 in the back. And I really like Luke Shaw. I think he had a really bad season last year, as did most players, but I actually believe in him more than most. I look at the right-hand side, and I don't believe in either of those guys. Wan-Bissaka, the less said, the better. And I think Diogo Dalot was a bit like Telles in that people were so sick of Shaw that they decided to big up the backup, but the backup is no better. The fact that Dalot is not good enough. And Wan-Bissaka, I think, is on his way out this summer. So I think if we are to go transition to a back 3, 100%, we need a better wing back. You look at the best wing backs, the best fullbacks in modern day football, and they're ones who are just as adept at going forward as they are at defending. As Culture Cams love saying, it's attacking football, attacking fullbacks. That's the new era. You look at Hakimi, you look at Trent, Robertson, Cancelo, Reece James. Dalot and Wan-Bissaka on the right-hand side doesn't cut it. So I'd agree with you. If you had to ask me Anthony or a top-class right back, I'm taking a right back every day of the week.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I said I don't know if you want a Liverpool fan's point of view, but that is, again, it's mad because I'm so much in agreement about that guy, Anthony. He's the ultimate techers player. Yeah. You see his technical ability and you're thinking, woo! And he's the ultimate guy that you watch on YouTube and think, how can we incorporate into my team? Because I would love to see that shit. But it wouldn't bring you the big trophies, in my opinion. So I've been called out for saying Anthony's not the one, because Liverpool were linked with him as well. And I said, my God, I would not like to see an output merchant like Salah replaced by pure just tricks and technique. I get that, but no output. And then people start hitting me with his output at Ajax. Don't talk. He
has what 12 goal contributions in the Eredivisie this year. It's not even like his output is anything to write home about.
So from my point of view, I so hope you guys get him.
Here's the thing for me, right? Especially with Anthony, and I didn't even bring up Anthony. I kind of look at Jadon Sancho in a similar light, and I look at all the elite wide players in the Premier League, in this league that's so, whatever we want to say about it, physicality is a huge demand in it. And they have burst, they have explosiveness, they have the ability to beat a man. I saw Jadon Sancho this season against Fabian Delph. He couldn't beat him one single time against Everton. And that's not to say that I think Sancho is going to be a flop at United. I think under Ten Hag, he'll look a lot better than he did last season. But I think he will never justify the £70 million we paid for him. I think it would be the same thing with Anthony. Anthony is a very talented player, but I kind of see the same characteristics or similar characteristics that I see in Sancho. I cannot believe United this window hasn't even shown interest in a Rafinha, for example, because if they are so keen on a right-sided player, You have a guy in Rafinha who's shown that Champions League isn't the biggest objective for him in his interest in going to Arsenal. And I think that he would be a much bigger success, especially right off the bat playing in the Premier League, than an Antony. But this is, again, where you kind of have to say, Ten Hag, you have to give him the keys. You have to let him do what he wants. But at the same time, are you going to let him just recreate Ajax at United?
I think the Eriksen capture again. I think Eriksen is a wonderful footballer, a wonderful footballer. But how are you guys gonna fit him into that system, that position, the team?
I think he's gonna be depth,
yeah, so do I. I think he's gonna be depth.
I think he's going to be much needed competition for Bruno, because Bruno now the last 2-3 years has basically, he can play a 0 out of 10 game. He's in the lineup the next game. I think. And you can ask, is that what United needs? Is United?
I was going to say,
depth? No, it's not. It's not like City where we're saying, okay, go and spend 40 million on a backup defensive midfielder. United, in my opinion, I'm not a fan of how the window is going, as you can probably imagine. But yeah, I can't.
Who is? Which United fan is? I don't think we haven't even touched upon the business other clubs are doing, but we're running out of time now. But I genuinely not worry. Why the fuck would I worry for you?
No, I get what you mean, though. I get what you mean.
You get what I mean? I think you're stalling, man.
Yeah.
I think the targets as well, like Eriksen is pretty much done. Frankie de Jong is the one that's
happen. Yeah, I think Frankie
de Jong is the triangle that affects you guys, and then it affects so many deals. That deal.
Yeah, Lewandowski for me is the biggest.
Lewandowski, yeah. So, and again, your centre back names that have been bandied about. I mean, again, I'm not a big fan of the guy from Ajax. I don't know what you guys saying, man.
You're talking about Martinez, right?
Lisandro Martinez.
He's 5'9". That's a big person.
I remember when Van Gaal played Daley Blind at center back.
Even Timber's a one-on-one good defender, but the Premier League's more, man. Is more. I don't know, man. De Ligt would be should be a legitimate target for you guys.
I don't want De Ligt. I don't rate him. I think he's very similar to Harry Maguire in terms of like his positioning defensively is very bad. He's like I think he got at 1v1. And I think he's like a player that's been a transfer flop by Juventus, considering he was like the next center back up. He's like the next Sergio Ramos in a way, the leader from very young, tall, commanding center back. I mean, most I don't want because Juventus want 80 mil. That's that's like a very big price. I don't want 80 mil for another center back ever again after Harry Maguire. That's probably a price we should never pay.
Oh, hit me with some center backs because I'm struggling to think.
I'll tell you this, Grizz. I wouldn't buy a center back if I were United this summer. Like, I don't think center back would be a position I would target. And I know that's probably crazy after the season we saw with Maguire and Varane, but I think United has more pressing needs. I look at, for example, striker. Cristiano Ronaldo, I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but I think his season was massively disguised with the way he ended it. Stat padding against Norwich, scoring.
Shit!
I'm not a fan of this.
I'm
not a fan of the season Cristiano Ronaldo played.
I've been saying this shit and getting shit from United fans from all over the world.
Listen, I mean, we talk about the players who missed out on PFA Team of the Year. What did Ronaldo do differently to Harry Kane this season? If anything, Harry Kane led his team to the Champions League. But besides the point, I just lost my light, so we'll add some brightness. What was I going to say? For me, whatever you want to say about Ronaldo, even if you think he had a great season, which I personally don't believe so, at the end of the day, he's a 37-year-old who's going to be relied on to play Europa League and Premier League 2 to 3 games a week. And if he's not the answer, then what? Anthony Martial is going to come in and be the replacement? I don't think so. And I'm looking at guys like Scamacca potentially going to PSG, looking at Nunez already going to Liverpool. Osimhen doesn't look like he's on the move. What's the plan up front? Is it just to rely on Ronaldo and the corpse of Martial? So I have major question marks about United going
This
forward.
is why United want Nunez, as Dean says in the chat. This is why Man United wanted Darwin Nunez. But Michael, if Liaz is saying striker is the priority and not, can I ask you about your DM situation from a Man United point of view? Like, is there anyone that you have in mind that you would like the club to be fucking even linked with?
I mean, I rate the League Gun very highly in terms of midfielders. Like, if like Liz knows me on Twitter, I was spewing Bruno G every day on Twitter in January, every single day from the 1st to the 31st. I was saying sign Bruno G, sign Bruno G. Obviously, Newcastle did that because they saw my Twitter. I love Maxence Coqueret from Lyon. I think he's a wonderful player. He just signed a contract extension though. Sheik Toure from Lens. That's another player that you can sign very cheap. Benasser, I know analogy. I think we were linked with him a little bit. I think he has a release clause as well. I think like 50 mil at Milan. But also the DM, like if Leo said, if Ten Hag goes to 3-back, then you kind of could negate the need of a DM.
Will he go for a back for you guys?
I do think like the links, like we've been linked with a couple wing backs too. David Rom from Hoffenheim, that's a wing back right there.
Guy as well, but he's off the Lyon now.
Yeah, Borna Sosa, we were linked with him for a little. I don't know how legit that was from Stuttgart, so maybe. But Ten Hag's never coached a 3-back. That's the only question I have with that. He's never coached it, so will he really go into a formation he's never coached in his first year at Man United? That's going to be a big transition.
That's why I look at his targets; they don't make sense. Like I'm very open to giving Ten Hag what he wants, as much time as he needs. I'm in a position now where I've had a lot of humble pie eaten because I was convinced that Ollie was a massive problem at the club, but clearly the light was not brighter at the end of the tunnel. Not saying that Ollie was faultless, but clearly there are bigger issues as well at the club. So I'm happy to give Ten Hag his time, but at the same time, I'm looking at these targets and I'm looking at how slow we're moving to make deals, and I'm looking at how many of players that we could be using to improve our team right now are going to rivals. And again, that's why I kind of tell you, Grizz, that if we are to go into next season, my only expectation is that we just play better football and that it's a sustainable style. I can't really expect any results right now because I'm looking at it and it almost seems like United is going into the next season and the goal for them is like, let's hope that the 2019-20 season where we came second was the real United and not last season, and that all these players are going to return to how they played that year. That's what it seems like United is kind of aiming for. That Rashford is going to play like he did in 2020. That Maguire is going to play like he played in 2020. That Luke Shaw is going to play like he played in 2020. If all that happens, okay, maybe it's going to be an okay season. But I think a lot of these guys showed who they were last year, and I think when someone shows you who you are, you got to take it for face value.
Michael, is there anything else that you wanted to speak about or ask about? Because this has been a great conversation as far as I'm concerned. I've enjoyed this part, the best part of the show.
Just one with Ten Hag's targets, do you think that maybe United giving a little too much power? Because I think that the proper way to run a football club is like you have a director of football that works with the manager, right? So like Michael Edwards works with Jurgen Klopp. And then the manager says the type of profiles that he wants. And then the director of football's job is to work with the scouts together. Because Klopp never wanted – Salah and Mane were not Klopp's number one targets. He wanted the Götzes, he wanted the Draxlers, he wanted the Julian Brands. But Michael Edwards went out there and found him someone better in Salah and Mane, and the rest is history. They were one of the greatest trios the Premier League's ever seen. Do you think – well, obviously United – the counter argument is United don't have a Michael Edwards. We have a Bertal who is not – nowhere has the capacity to fill Edwards' shoes in that aspect. So do you think maybe United should – because United have a bunch of scouts. I'm hoping at least they have a bunch of scouts. And it's also been said that United are not taking the scouts' recommendations and only focusing on players Ten Hag wants to. Do you think maybe United are giving Ten Hag a little too much power because they're worried about what Ed Woodward did because we gave our director of football too much power earlier and now we're giving all power to the manager? Do you think that United aren't finding the right balance?
I'm gonna go first because I'm a non-Man United fan, and then Lias can give the actual answer.
Go ahead.
I can speak from the outside. I think you're still in a state of confusion. I genuinely think as a club, as a structure, from the owners to the coaches to the scouting network to the director of football, I think you're still in a state of transition, confusion, because literally your last 12 months has been the fuck up of fuck ups. Like Ralph Rangnick is the man when it comes to reorganizing a whole club. And what did you do? You hired the best man. And I went on record. I was on 90 Minutes, right? And Scott Saunders from 90 Minutes, he was with me, and everyone was saying, "Oh, Ralph Rangnick, man, who the fuck?" And I said, "Guys, Ralph Rangnick is Mr. Football, but he's Mr. Behind the Scenes football. You guys have made him first team coach, and you made him first team coach of a bunch of guys that have got massive, looking from the outside, massive ego issues, personal pride issues." An inability to take on instruction or to put it into action, splits in the camp. Ralph Rangnick hates this shit. So he's so used to not perfection, but laying the foundations for perfection. The least he's going to do for you guys is going to root out all the evil. And then hopefully being given a platform to build on and work on. What do you guys do? You sack him or you relieve him of his duties. And then you go and sack a whole heap of other people in and around the structure willy-nilly. as far as I know, I don't know. You guys will know more. It's your club. I don't think you've recruited many to take those places. But what you've done is got yourself a very good, progressive young coach who's probably one of the best out there. But then you've given him, again, a whole heap of, as you said, Michael, responsibility, freedom, which I don't think he had at Ajax. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys.
He worked hand in hand with Overmars. He worked hand in hand with Van der Sar. They have one of the best footballing structures above him to basically, in the academy.
So what you've done is gone from one extreme to another, given the man who needs responsibility, needs power, Ralf Rangnick, taking it away from him suddenly, giving it to a coach who thrives under of director of football, who once, like you said, Michael, gives the profile of a player to his director of football, and the director of football go and gets the 2-3 alternatives in that position. I think you're a whole heap of mess right now, but you've got a good coach. And I agree with you. I think finding the balance is going to take a season or two. So I think it could be another messed up season. And I'm not trying to banter you guys. I'm trying to be real. I think it's a state of confusion still.
I find it very hard to disagree with anything you just said there, Grizz. I mean, anyone who knows me knows what I thought about Ralf Rangnick and what I still think about him. I still think that the way that whole situation went down shows the incompetency from United from top to bottom, whether you rate the guy or not. To basically bring in a guy to be under the proclaimed title of consultant and then fire him without him ever doing a day of the consultancy work, for me, shows that they basically freestyled the whole appointment, or that it was a PR appointment just to appease a fan base that were angry after Oli. And I think you look at the transfer mess that we're in at the moment, and that we're not able to recruit anyone from outside of a certain team that our manager used to coach. And that wouldn't have been an issue if, like you said, you had Mr. Football, the guy who literally has found the likes of Mane, the likes of Kimmich, the likes of Haaland. Those are all Ralf Rangnick's discoveries. Those are all his players that he brought to the clubs he was at the time. I mean, like I said with United, I'm kind of in a situation now where they have to prove me wrong. They have to show me that things are changing, because I'm kind of done with just buying into the hype, buying into the narrative. I've never seen United appoint a manager, and this is even with Oli, because when we appointed him, there was a buzz around the fan base. We hired Ten Hag, and we were so down as a fan base that there was basically no hype, right? I've never seen that with a United appointment. Everything that United does normally is guaranteed at least social media hype. Ten Hag has come in, and we're like, okay, I mean, we've known about this for 3 months. So this is now a deflated fan base, this is a defeated fan base, and it's up to the club now to prove us wrong. It's up to the club now to show us that things are changing. And I'm with you, Grizz. I think it can't be healthy for a manager to have full power over everything. It doesn't happen with Pep, it doesn't happen with Klopp.
Like that quick?
Even with Fergie, it didn't happen with Fergie. He had David Gill as his right-hand man. So, yeah, I think I've said it time and time again. This is my final point. Things will get worse for United before they get better. And people might think that's crazy because how last season went, but things will get worse before it gets better. And I'm of the unpopular opinion that things might have to get worse before they get better. Because I think the fan base is still under this illusion that, we're a few players off and we can go back to challenging Arsenal for top 4. No, I think United, to get to where they eventually want to be, if they even want to be back challenging for titles, under the Glazers, we don't know if that's the end goal, things will have to get worse and more things will need to be exposed. And you're going to have to completely tear the Band-Aid off the axe wound and let it be exposed to then recover and rehabilitate and get back to the top. That's my unpopular belief.
I think Kevin makes a shout out to Kevin. I think he makes a good point, guys. I think it's a case of panic again. He says, I think it's because it's season 1, no time to scout because he came too late. That's why he's going for people he knows and trusts.
He can't, Grizz, though, we've known Ten Hag now was going to be the Manchester United manager for months. In fact, he immediately when Ajax won their league, didn't go on vacation with them. He came to United. He was at the last game of our season watching this club. He's seen these players firsthand. He's seen the mess of the last 6 months. I don't blame Ten Hag here. I mean, his transfer targets are a bit shaky, but I blame the poor recruitment system right now and how slow we are with getting these deals over the table. There was a report a few months ago that I brought up today that Ten Hag wanted to go into, I think, July with his team basically set up, his targets identified, and his players brought in, and the outgoings gone, and that he could head into preseason with his team. And we're 10 days away from preseason, and this is the same United team, minus a bunch of free agents that have left. And no matter what you think of Pogba, what you think of Cavani, what you think of Matthijs, those are still bodies in our first team that we no longer have anymore. This United team is in a worse position than they were 3 weeks ago. They have a better manager, but it's a smaller, weaker squad.
100%. 100%. I agree with that. You can't disagree with that. Mike, you've been a wonderful caller. I'm going to leave you on this note. Chris, tell Michael he's the double of Dylan.
I see it.
So, guys, like, you're going to have to fill me in, Dylan Dennis, right? So, go on. Who is he? I'm going to Google him.
He's part of Conor McGregor's team, right? Whether he's a sparring partner.
I'm Googling him right now. You go.
Yeah. He's blonde, though, I think. That's the only difference. But I kind of see it. I can't lie.
Images. Okay. I see it.
It's the stash. Low key, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I don't have a trim right now either. Yeah, it's peak. Yeah.
But you got the tattoos, right? You got the tattoos like But listen, it was a pleasure speaking to you, man. Appreciate that. Nice one. Thanks very much, man. Take care of yourself. Take care. Bye-bye. Guys, we're gonna wrap this up, man. This is a mega stream. It's gone for 2 hours. Wow, the fucking time flew. I didn't even notice that shit, Liaz. Like it just went. It just went. The chat was.
That's when you know the football chat is good, though, bro. When you lose track of time.
You don't. Honest to God, and there's about at least 8 people that I couldn't let on, and I'm so sorry, you guys. Don't be angry with me, but we started chatting, and we didn't cover some of the topics that I wanted to cover, like the Gabriel Jesus, the Kelvin. We touched upon Kalvin Phillips, but Sven Botman to Newcastle. My God, is that something United could have looked at? Maybe, possibly. I don't know, man. Kalvin Phillips, could you guys have looked at that?
Definitely. I would have taken Kalvin Phillips at United. Definitely.
You know, this is the kind of things that we want to get on, but maybe another stream. Guys, make sure you hit the like stream before you get out. Apparently, we're only about 10 away from 200, which is a brilliant ratio. So just get that up, man. Out of 300, 200 liked. The other 100, I don't know, you lovely people for tuning in, but what was you doing? Okay, we're 5 away. So get that.
Come on, 5 more. You guys can do it.
Easy, man. Easy. Listen, first and foremost, thank you, Liaz. Let people know where they can find you for more great footballing content.
Yeah, of course. Most of my social medias are Liaz Bouzidi 10. So LYES BOUZIDI 10. And I think on my pinned tweet, anyways, you can find all my social medias. I'm on YouTube too, but I can't lie, I'm very inconsistent. Like I'm not like you. So to be honest, you can go and see my old stuff, but I'm very inconsistent on there. I'm
only become consistent in literally the last month or so. People will tell you I'm fucking lazy. I've been building other channels for 2 years, and I only started this in November, and the support has been mad. But people, just a quick thing. We've got a special show coming up real soon, which Liaz is going to be part of. It's going to be like the European version of the Big Six that we do. People already know about the Big Six, but this is going to be the Eurostars, the European version, and Liaz is 100% involved because you've seen today he knows ball. And how we know he knows ball is how many times we fucking disagreed. It's amazing when we chat, like on social media, when you don't have a face-to-face interaction with someone, it's so different.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you notice that?
Definitely.
Like you have a total different perception of someone through tweets because there's no sarcasm emoji, there's no context emoji. It's just raw words on a screen.
100%. Yeah, it's hard to read emotion. 100%.
But listen, exactly, man. People bigging up Liaz in the chat. Liaz is going to be active, man. Liaz is going to be active. I'm going to get Omar, if he's still in the chat. If he's not, I'll message him. I'm going to get Liaz's links to his socials in the description of the channel, guys.
I appreciate that.
But I know it's my fault for not doing that. I'm very bad at this kind of shit. People will tell you I'm so bad on this kind of stuff, but we learn, right, as we go along. Of course. Yeah, man. Listen, we smashed those likes. Well done, people. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the love. I don't even know how to do the outro, so I'm just going to say we're out of here without an outro. We catch up real soon. Take care, people. Bye-bye.